Hello and welcome to episode 24 of ChatGPT Write Short Stories, a series where I enter something into ChatGPT and it spits out a short story for me to read out loud to you. Let's get started. Today's story: A family inherits a haunted house. The old manor stood at the end of a long, winding road, at its towering spires and cracked stone facade shrouded in mystery. The Chandler family, who had lived there in the city all their lives, never imagined they would inherit such a place. Yet, when the letter arrived from a distant relative they had never met, the deed to the house was enclosed, sealed with wax, and marked with the family crest. The Chandlers, John, his wife Sarah, and their two children, Emma and Max, were curious and eager to explore their new property. They packed up their belongings and drove out to the countryside, the air growing colder as they neared their destination. The manor loomed over them as they approached, with its windows dark and the front door creaked open as if inviting them inside. The first few days were uneventful. The family busied themselves with unpacking and exploring many rooms. Max found an old library filled with dusty books, and Emma discovered a music room with a grand piano that still played beautiful, though slightly out of tune, melodies. Sarah spent her time in the garden, which, despite its overgrown state, had certain wild beauty to it. John, ever the practical one, began making a list of repairs that the house would need. But as night fell on the fourth day, things began to change. The air grew heavy, and strange noises echoed through the halls. The sound of footsteps in empty rooms, doors creaking open by themselves, and whispers that seemed to come from the walls. At first they brushed it off as the house settling or the wind playing tricks, but soon the occurrences became too frequent and too eerie to ignore. One night, as the family sat together in the living room, the temperature suddenly dropped, and the fire in the hearth extinguished itself. A soft, mournful wail echoed through the room, and the chandelier above them began to sway gently, though there was no breeze. The children clung to their parents, their eyes wide with fear. John, determined to protect his family, decided to confront whatever was haunting them. He grabbed a flashlight and made his way to the attic, where the sound seemed to originate. The stairs creaked under his weight as he climbed, the beam of his flashlight cutting through the darkness. When he reached the attic, he found it filled with old furniture covered in sheets and dusty relics from a bygone era. In the center of the room stood an old trunk, its lock rusted and broken. John hesitated, but then opened the trunk, revealing a collection of letters, photographs, and a small, ornate box. Inside the box was a locket containing a faded picture of a young woman. As John held it, the temperature in the room plummeted, and he heard a soft whisper, "Help me." Startled, he looked around but saw no one. The voice came again, pleading, "Set me free." Realizing the spirit was trapped, John quickly gathered the items from the trunk and returned to his family. They decided to burn the letter and photographs, hoping it would release the spirits from its torment. As the flames consumed the old papers, the house began to tremble. A gust of wind rushed through the manor, extinguishing every candle, leaving the family in darkness. But then, just as suddenly as it began, the shaking stopped, and a calmness settled over the house. The next morning, the sun shone brightly through the windows, and the oppressive feeling that had hung over the manor was gone. The Chandlers knew that the spirit had been set free, and the house was now truly theirs. They decided to stay, transforming the once haunted manor into a warm, loving home where the memory of a relentless spirit lingered only in the stories they would tell for generations to come. Wow. Not a bad little story, ChatGPT. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It reminded me of like the Addams Family or something like that. Man, this would have been like a good story to put out around Halloween, but hey, maybe I can still make something like that happen. Let me know what you got. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for listening. Bye.